Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and today I'm going to review the 4K Blu-ray edition of Elisabeth Moss in The Invisible Man. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. You can also find me over Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at Movie Guy 365, as well as over at the Disney Magic Hour podcast. I will put a link to that in the description. All right, The Invisible Man, directed by Leigh Whannell and starring Elisabeth Moss as the protagonist of the film. I was a big fan of the movie. That was one of the last movies I saw before the pandemic hit and the theater shut down. So it still has time to kind of resonate with me, as far as that goes. But as when it comes to the movie, I really enjoyed it. I did actually dig it. It was a nice little blend of horror and drama and a little bit of action thrown in there, and very suspenseful. And I think Elisabeth Moss did a great job. And just the overall, the spin on the character and the villain of the Invisible Man was done, I feel, really, really well. I think it was a very cool movie. It's very atmospheric, which goes a long way to my review on the actual, the disc itself. But it's a very cool, just kind of modern telling of the film. I really liked it. I think it was just a lot of fun. I was very satisfied with the overall film, and I think you would be too. I think it differentiates itself from previous iterations of the character. So it's just going into that, has a more modern spin. I think it's done very nicely. So, all right, we're going to talk about the picture quality and the audio in just a moment. But before we do that, let's do a quick unboxing of the slipcover. All right, we have the slipcover edition of The Invisible Man in 4K, and I gotta admit, I like the cover. I think it's really good. A good choice. No steelbook was available for this, but yeah. All right, slipcover edition, front cover, and then we have the back, and then the spine, and then just cover gives a little slightly different on this on the interior, and then a little bit of artwork on the 4K disc itself. Always appreciated. So that's it for the unboxing. Now let's talk about the picture quality and the audio. Universal's The Invisible Man is going to be native 4K, and it's going to support an HDR10 and Dolby Vision encode. So for purposes of this review, I will be reviewing the Dolby Vision layering. So that being said, wow, really a very impressive overall presentation here visually. Just the fact that we don't get a whole lot of horror / suspense movies on the format is a treat in and of itself, but the fact that it is native 4K and it supports both HDR and Dolby Vision, I think is a great mix for what we got here on the overall presentation of the disc. I'm very impressed. I think the atmosphere of the film is just, it's done very well, and I think the overall, when it comes to black levels, for instance, I think are the darkness very well. It's just done nice, and they're very deep, and I just love those enriched black levels. I think they look great. Color is, it's not going to be an overly cheerful movie. There's not a whole lot of that going on, but there are layers of, let's say, when she's looking in at the secret lab in her boyfriend's house, the blue backdrop, it really stands out, and I think it just makes great use of that color. But other things such as clothing, lighting from light sources, so, like a traffic light or something like that, they look great and they really stand out. But overall, it's kind of kept a little bit on the reserve side. But I think it's more of an artistic choice. But it looks really well done here, and the colors look natural. They look great, and they stand out in appropriate ways. Level of detail is also very well done here. It's just skin textures look great, clothing, just any kind. The suit itself, the Invisible Man, is just it just stands out. It looks really great, fantastic. And I'm just overall pleased with the Dolby Vision here. I think it looks wonderful. It takes a great atmospheric movie and enhances it for your home viewing, and it does so very nicely, and it's really just kind of a winner in the category. As for the audio mix on the Invisible Man 4K, we're given a Dolby Atmos soundtrack, and it is pretty darn impressive. it really has a lot to do with all the channels. They're all used very nicely. Everything from musical cues to action to just quieter moments, and there are plenty sprinkled throughout the film. As far as the musical cues go, it gets pretty much a lot of attention, and there's a lot going on. It almost feels like a character in of itself. Anytime that it's really active, it really just occupies all the soundstage, and it does so really nicely, and it's really good, and it's a good highlight to point out. Now, as far as, you know, dialogue and quieter moments, great. They really sound great as far as dialogue goes coming through its hits. You could hear a pin drop, and I think the sound stage overall, it's really good in those moments. But you know, everything that the Invisible Man, the character himself, uses, you know, as far as like you get those special effects where, you know, like you could hear little things behind you on the mid-levels, the rears, the breathing, you know, that occupies the space. It's all used here, and you know they did so like it's done in a very clever way, and I think it really just brings the overall experience just further out to, you know, us here at the home theater. It's really mixed very well. The LFE is used very nicely. It's very boomy even from the first opening couple minutes, and you know, throughout the film it's used in very appropriate ways, and I don't feel it gets overly obtrusive or anything to that degree. Now, as far as the mid-levels, or I'm sorry, as far as the height speakers go, they are used sparingly. They are used, I would say, one particular scene towards the climax is when and they make good use of the height speakers. So yeah, I'm very impressed with the overall audio presentation of The Invisible Man in 4K. Now for the scores, I'm going to go ahead and give the picture quality on the 4K a solid A+. I think as an atmospheric movie, it fires on off all cylinders, and it really just is a great presentation. It looks fantastic. It has the appropriate black levels, color, detail. It all works here, and just the native 4K aspect is also a winner. I think just a great presentation visually. As far as the audio mix goes, I'm going to give that one a solid A. It's very strong. It's boomy when it needs to be. It's quiet, and it also has plenty of activity when there's action on the screen, and there's great use of the surround sounds and the height speakers. I think that it's all used very well. Really a good overall presentation by Universal here on The Invisible Man 4K. So that is my review. Let me know in the comments below if you had a chance to pick it up, and what did you think of it. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. I put out videos every single day. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.